Hey. Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. This is Thursday, and I want to come on to talk about the Marlon Wayans interview. Okay, so the caption is, did Marlon Wayans, okay, did he take a shot at Vlad? Okay, so let me just give you a backstory. Vlad TV, right? Vlad reached out to Marlon Wayans for an interview, right? And his interview, he gave his price, right? So that's generally what people do who want an interview, right? They reach out to the person that they want to interview, and the person negotiates the price, right? So we know nothing ain't free, right? Nothing is free, right? If you want a service, you got to pay for it, right? So Vlad says to Marlon Wayans, right? And if you are familiar with the black culture, and I'm just going to not even say because white culture, we all know the Wayans family, right? Starting with Ken, the Wayans family. Hey, Terrence, thank you so much. Thank you. Grace and peace. So, Terrence, I'm talking about, did you see the interview with Marlon Wayans, right, on Club Shay Shay? Now, first of all, shout out to Shannon Sharp, because he did his thing. One thing that you can say about Shannon, he is a excellent interviewer. Okay, he has excellent interviewing skills, y'all. And I was just so impressed at the questions that he was throwing out at Marlon Wayans, right? And by the way, Marlon Wayans is one of my favorite Wayans, right? But I love all of them for different reasons, right? Keenan, we know who is the visionary, right? He is the one that, started everything, that hired Jim Carrey. A lot of people say that he never did anything beyond Living Color. But Living Color, you got Jim Carrey, you got David Allen Greer, right? You got Tommy Davidson, right? You got Sean Wayans, he was a DJ, right? You got all these people on Living Color, right? So Kenan Wayans is the GOAT. We know that if you are familiar with black culture, right? So when Vlad reached out to Marlon Wayans, right? So Marlon Wayans put his number out there. He said, if you want to interview me, you got to give me $40,000. And I thought that was cheap for him. I thought that was cheap for we're talking about Marlon Wayans, okay? White girl, white chicks, right? Little Man, all these movies, Scary One, Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2, all these movies that the Wayans brothers, Marlon and Sean, have done, even besides Kenan, right? So it was just so exciting to hear his journey, right? Hey, Isaiah, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks so much, y'all. And I know, y'all, I have not been on here because they got me working. And you got to mind the business that pays you, right? So, yeah, y'all. And thanks so much for Terrence for being my first male moderator, right? Thank you so much. So, yeah. So this interview was so good because, like I said, for black culture, right? If you have been living under a rock, the Wayans family is just multi-talented when it comes to Kim Wayans, right? When it comes to I'm forgetting a Wayans, y'all. I'm forgetting, and I love him so much. He was on My Wife and Kids, but when you doing things on live, you can't remember. What's the other Wayans brothers? And I love him too. But we know that Keenan, but is you know, the head of the family, right? He's one of the oldest, but they got like, it's like 10 of them, right? So he was talking about his life and how he, you know, was born into the business, right? And but how he took his own journey. So before I start talking about that, the interview is a must see, right? If you care anything about Black culture, it is a must see interview. And like I said, Shannon Sharp did an excellent job at interviewing him. So what the beef about Vlad and Marlon Wayans, right? So I have some personal feelings about Vlad because number one, you know, him, you know, being, you know, he's a Caucasian, right? So him, you know, interviewing probably 99.9% of the Black culture, it's just, you know, a lot of times you see a lot of these rappers have went to jail. A lot of them have been pow. It's just, it's really, it's giving, I don't want to say clout chasing because they are celebrities, but when it comes to like the drill music and things like that, these are inner city kids that have been in gangs and they have tried to get a come up, right? So, you know, the more talking you do, the more the feds is gonna be watching you, right? So anyway, yeah, that's what Vlad TV gives to me, right? And I don't want to say the term culture vulture, but some people allude that he is a culture vulture, right? A person that profits from the Black culture but not is in the Black culture, right? And they've people have said that, right? Excuse me, you ain't heard it from me, right? But people have said that. So he offered Marlon Wayans, the baby, right, to me, one of the most talented, to interview him. So Marlon Wayans said $40,000. So he was like, absolutely not. He said, no, he said $40,000 to do the interview. And I'm wrong if y'all correct me. And 3% of the revenue, which means that I'm charging you $40,000. And if you go viral, which we all know if you are Wayans, you gonna go viral, right? Okay. And baby, okay, so he told him absolutely not. I had a huge problem with that because why you can't give a Black man his worth? Right? And that's exactly what he said. Now he didn't outwardly talk about the offer and all that, right? But Vlad did. Vlad had an interview with D.L. Hughley, right? Told him about it. Then had another interview, so he went ahead of the offer. Now, I thought that was supposed to be something, you know how we, the working people, if somebody offer you something, you don't discuss salary. That's the given, right? But the person that offers you the salary is gonna come on, do multiple interviews with people that's in the Black culture, hoping to get favor, right? Hoping that you know, they can see where he's coming from. So Vlad says, I'd rather you tell me that you don't F with me in order than to charge me $40,000 for an interview. And I'm like, wow. You can't give you, first of all, if you're so knowledgeable about the culture, you don't know that the Wayans family is the GOAT. Period, point blank, dot to die. You don't know that the Wayans family is up here when it comes, I mean, living color. Come on, y'all. The handyman, just all the skits and everything, the multiple people that he have hired You know, the Wayans family have made millionaires, have put them in a, you know, in the status of an actor. Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey even said he would not be where he is had it not been for Keenan Wayans, right? So, just to know that, and be interviewing all these black people, and so many incidents have happened. People have went to jail behind these rappers mouthing off, right, telling all the things that they did, talking about beef, making a small situation big on Vlad TV. A lot of times, they have had some backlash, right? So I'm like, is it for the culture or not? Okay, let me put that in the chat and let me know what y'all think. Is Vlad really for the culture? Number one, it just shows how out of touch he is, because he didn't want to pay one of the Wayans his what he asked for, and now so Shannon Sharp picked up the interview, right? Period, right? So these numbers have went through the roof, right? Now it's probably at 40 million. So Vlad started interviewing like D.L. Hughley, this other comedian, and one of the comedians, I cannot recall his name, but he was like, you shouldn't even say nothing when it comes to the Wayans family. I mean, you can't go back and forth with a comedian, but trying to talk to a Wayans family, he was like, no, because we grew up on Living Color, right? We grew up. That is a integral part of the black culture, right? So he was trying to say that, and Vlad was saying, yeah, I could go, you know, I went up against him. My tweets got the most, and I was like, your tweets? I mean, who would say that? Who would say that? Well, who cares about how many hits your tweet got? The point is, you're not familiar with our culture, right? Hey Sheila, thanks for joining. You're not familiar, right? So here we are, you know, listening to this interview, and it really put me in a, I don't know, it just made me feel some type of way that he didn't think that Marlon Wayans was worth that. So in the interview, Marlon Wayans did allude to that. He didn't mention Vlad's name, okay? He just talked about we as, you know, actors, because already, you know, black actors are marginalized in, you know, in Hollywood, right? People don't want to pay you your worth, right? It's the pay scale is not equal when it comes to African American, you know, artists, right? So yeah, so Marlon Wayans did allude to that, right? He did allude to that, but he was saying that he was telling Shannon Sharp, out of the many things that he talked about, but he was saying why that we can't give a black man his worth, right? And he started talking about how networks, when they did the Wayans brothers, which was another part, integral part of our black culture, right? When they did the Wayans brothers, him and Sean, they didn't want to hire the father, right? God rest his soul. I can't even think of his name now. I love him. Y'all, you said don't forget to like. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you so much for putting that down there, one of my moderators as well. Okay, so and please, y'all, like this video, share this video. Okay, so yeah, so the beef, so to speak, is you know, Marlon Wayans did allude to that without mentioning Vlad. He was saying that black people, we're not crabs in a barrel, right? We deserve our worth, right? And so my question was, why was he interviewing other black a comedian, right, DL, and another comedian, to get them on his side, and they really didn't agree with him because they understood how much of a part of the Wayans family, how important the Wayans family is to our culture, right? So it just goes to show you, still, even with our talent, how much actresses and artists, how undervalued their gifts are, right, to other people. And even though other people may think that they're so, on it when it comes to our culture, they're not. Because you should have known. You should have known. You should have known. You should have known how important the Wayans family is and what they've done for our culture, right? So, yeah, the interview, if you didn't see it, it is a must-see, right? And it just goes to show you how people make money on our gifts, right? On our gifts. It has to be said because, when you don't think, if you don't, on the outside looking in, you got to pay people their worth. That's just like you having skills and somebody not paying you what you're worth, and you done had about 10 years plus of this experience, right? And somebody want to start you off at minimum wage. What are you going to do? So that is the scenario that I'm talking about, right? So yeah, I have my reservations about Vlad, right? Like I said, a lot of these people, which are regulars on his show, yeah, it's almost like they have to go on there. And I know you don't really have to do that, but we have to mainly support black business, right? So I was so happy that Marlon Wayans was able to give that to Shannon Sharp. And like I said, he did an excellent job, and he was able to talk about their childhood. Marlon Wayans was able to talk about just how he still, with the opportunities, he went to college, just about his relationship with his mother, and how even though they had a big family, they still came from a two-parent household, right? And it was just so funny because, it reminds you of a lot of the family dynamics that we go through, right? Being raised poor, right? Coming out of the hood, trying to, establish your own career. And it was just so down to earth. It will make you want to say, wow, just feel so proud to see, that being up and close and hearing about how he grew up in, the Wayans family, right? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. To me, the problem was that Vlad did not want to pay Marlon Wayans his worth, right? He didn't know how much of the GOAT the Wayans family was, and how they are to black culture, right? So that's why people call people culture vulture, right? Did you do 90% of your interviews with African American people, so much so that the white culture is saying, well, they ain't get, what I'm saying, who are you going to interview? Or maybe they might not want to go to his platform because that's all he do is interview rappers, right? With a lot of drama, not talking about the good of the culture. So a lot of people have reservations about Vlad when it comes to that, right? What is his angle, right? What is his, when you see, like you see a lot of these rappers, doing drill music, trying to get out of the hood, right? Coming from gangs, right? And then before you know it, Vlad had an interview, and he himself had to call off the names of the rappers that have died to gang violence behind his interviews. That would make you think, right? That would make you think, like, is this some Fed stuff? Like I said, we have to be careful. And so And I want to go too much into that because it's all, in my opinion, it's all, allegedly. But it was just like, okay, if you ask somebody to be on your platform and they gave you a no, that's what it is, right? Marlon Wayans wasn't talking about it. You brought up what you offer him, as if to think this man is worth millions. Google his net worth, right? Google the Wayans family's net worth, which to tell me he didn't do his research, right? And another thing, when he interviewed, he was talking about Shannon Sharp, and he was saying this to what's the guy? Y'all, the names are escaping me, but he was talking about one of the DJs on Academics. He was talking to DJ Academics, and or DJ Academics brought up on an interview because he was telling Vlad was telling someone what he don't like about Shannon Sharp, right? So this is Shannon Sharp. He got new money, right? He was an athlete, and now he went over to the sector and got his own show, Club Shay Shay, right? So when Shannon Sharp hit the Cat Williams interview, right? When he got so many views, it was unexpected, so to speak. Not really, because Cat Williams don't go on interviews like that. But he was saying he was mad. I was like, mad? He working just like you. He said what he didn't like about Shannon Sharp said he made more from the Cat Williams interview than he did when he was in football. Vlad couldn't understand that. So DJ Academics was saying, I'm surprised that you said that, because you should know how this thing works, right? Once you get an interview that's gonna hit the millions, you're gonna go over to YouTube, right? Once you do a video, you can do shorts, right? And if you monetize, you can chop that one interview into shorts, right? You can make so much money. And he was like, you were wrong on that. But you see y'all how people don't value, right? It's the value part for me. And I was like, wow, for you to do the high percentage of interviewing African American artists, whether you like them or not, right? They're on Vlad, telling who they done shot, who they done did this. You know what I'm saying? You might as well be on the jury. You might as well be on the prosecuting attorney. You might as well be on there, because you telling him everything, knowing that it's going to probably go viral, knowing that it's going to get some backlash from whoever you talking about, because he going to ask you, well, what's the beef with this one? It's just like throwing a rock and hiding it behind your head. You're throwing, you know how that saying is, throwing a rock and hiding your hand behind your back. That's basically what you're doing. You're exciting a riot, right? That's gonna put these artists, these rap artists, in more trouble than they try to get out of, right? Because once you come out of the hood, you trying to change, right? You're trying to change your environment. And one thing about Marlon Wayans, that he said, Sheila, what did you say? He said that he's a reporter. Yeah, a lot of people allegedly have said, is he working for the feds? Vlad, you ain't hear from me. I didn't say that. But the word on the street is, because he himself was in an interview. I don't know who it is, but I'm a YouTube watcher, and I'm going to watch these interviews if I don't do nothing else. He was saying, out of all the rappers have lost their lives behind being on his show. So that should tell people, FYI, watch what you say on these interviews. right? Because and I'm telling you, if you're trying to get out the hood, who can fault somebody for trying to make a change in their life? No matter what you did in the hood, you may have been in a gang, you may have went to jail, you may have did this, but somebody give you a opportunity for you to buy a house for your mama, right? To take care of your kids, right? And to you gonna take the offer. But meanwhile, on the back end, a lot of them rappers that they're hiring, right? They're giving them bogus contracts, right? So they're giving them the money on the front end and taking out life insurance for them, right? You think these companies ain't taking out, allegedly, life insurance on these rappers, right? But hey, some people say, hey, it's a win-win for me. I may not live to see this date, but I'm gonna get my money now. Do you see what I'm saying? Knowing that the way that they're going, what they're saying, what they're putting in these lyrics. And Meek Mills said in an interview that the more violent that these rappers put in the music, the more they get paid. What? Y'all ain't heard that? That's what Meek Mill said, and I have that video. I'm definitely going to share that video to my platform, because people need to know that these rappers are being paid to say these lyrics. You know what I'm saying? You look at people like King Von and things like that. He basically was telling about the bodies that he had. Right? Exciting violence. Absolutely. This young man, right? And for those of who you look, we was raised in Northwest Detroit, baby. So we didn't I myself and anybody that's raised in the hood, you know what goes on in the hood. You didn't heard gunshots. Gunshots is nothing new to us, right? Seeing somebody laying down on the ground, hearing the sirens and things like that. If you live in the inner city of Detroit, those are things that you're going to hear, right? It ain't nothing for you to hear so-and-so got shot, right? So-and-so got unalived, right? This happened. Somebody that was directly involved in a crime. It's nothing for you to hear that, because this is the life of a person that is raised up in the inner city. Even if you came from a two-parent home and they tried to shield you from that, still they didn't shield you from it, because you're in the environment, right? So you're still going to have probably PTSD because of the things that you see, right? Post-traumatic syndrome. That's why when I moved to Maryland, right, to Baltimore, nothing really bothered me. And I was like, first, I thought that maybe they were giving Detroit a bad rep and things like that. But we, the ones that are born and raised in Detroit on the northwest side, on the east side, we all have PTSD. You know what I'm saying? PTSD, post-traumatic stress trauma disorder, right? And y'all, I know I'm talking so fast because it's just so much that I want to say, but we're all affected and have some type of trauma, because anytime that one of your loved ones is pow to gang violence, it's gonna do something to you, right? Anytime one of your loved ones or somebody that you know directly, or somebody that is related to someone you know, that affects you, that indirectly or directly affects you, right? So yeah, they're giving these artists, right? And this is just my opinion, okay? Not the opinions of YouTube. That a lot of these lyrics, they're giving these rappers, right, some of them can have ghostwriters. And like Meek Mill said, the more explicit it is, the more they get paid, right? The violent it is, the more that it's going to get views, right? I can't tell you how many King Von, his music, which these rappers are just telling stories, right? Some of them are not true, but some of them are true. Some of them, they have experience, and I think with his is probably the most out of what I know, because he himself and people around him have said how the things that he did, right? So to offer him a contract and to offer these people, these drill artists, these contracts, knowing that, you know how gang violence is. You know how gang wars is. You know, sometimes the lifespan of these drill artists is real short if you don't change your environment, right? Some people don't know nothing but their environment, right? They don't know what's going on 2 blocks from their environment, that people are actually not living a violent life, right? These rappers, because they pledge the oath, right, to their gang, right? Quan, what is his name? Quan. He was, now some of the rappers are changing their lives, right? Seeing, if you see violence and you see a track record of these drill artists that are getting killed, then it's time for you to make a change, right? So some of these rappers are trying to change their lives, right? And I pray for them, right? I pray for, because that's somebody's son, right? That's somebody, that's not going to be another child that doesn't have a father, right? And we know how important it is for children to be with their father. So that's another childless father that's going to be in our community, right? And I don't care what you say, single parents, right? Single women that's trying to do it by themselves because their child's father have gotten slain to gang violence. You got to take your hat off to that, because it's hard doing it with 2, let alone 1. Right? And you don't have your father. You can't see your face in a man. You gotta reference a picture, right? You gotta reference a video, right? You gotta reference all these things. You don't know how it is for your father to take you to bed at night, right? And that's why we gotta pray. I'm just gonna say this, y'all. The Lord, I was just praying even for my family. Lord, we got to pray for God to break some generational curses. If not, it's going to continue. So you got to think of what toxicity lies in your family, right? So you can pray and ask God to break the curses, right? To break curses. So yeah, y'all, you got to, because if not, it's gonna go on to the next generation, right? And the Lord put it on in my heart, right? That you can pray, but sometimes you gotta pray and fast. You got to pray and fast, because some things are not going to move unless we fast and pray. Right? Unless we ask God to move on our behalf, right? And I'm talking about Black culture, because I'm a part of it, right? Because I see the downside. I know how it is to come out of the ghetto, right? If you from the hood, you got a different mindset. You can go to college, you can, do all these things, have a professional job, but it's a intuition. It's something that living in the hood, it teaches you. It teaches you. It's an amount of fear that you just don't have. because of it's almost like we've been desensitized, right, from what we've seen on a daily basis, right? So yeah, that's the thing about Black culture, that a lot of things that, you know, you can report about Black culture, you can interview people, yeah, you can do this, but you can't talk about a man unless you walk in his footprint, right? Unless you walk a mile in their shoes, right? So that's what I'm praying. That's why I know that it's good Black men. I know that there are men, Black men raising their children, right? I know that because I see it, right? A lot of people don't see it, so they do these statistics, and I don't know what their statistics is based on, but yeah, we still got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do because social media is dictating what we should be doing. Like, you got the Nick Cannons, right? You got the people that are having multiple children, right, by different women, right, and so much that you got a tribe, not knowing that you're attributing to single parenting. Because if you got more than 5 kids, you can't split yourself up in 5 ways. Somebody gonna grow up without their father in their home, right? I'm not talking about visits. I'm talking about actually being in their home, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So, y'all, I love y'all. Like I said, I don't know how I got on this, but y'all know I am a very passionate person. Like and subscribe. Watch the interview with Shannon Sharp and Marlon Wayans. I'm telling you, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. He's looking well and healthy and handsome. Damon Wayans, that's one I thought. So it's Keenan, it's Damon, it's Kim, it's Shy, and it's Marlon. You know how when I be on live, a lot of things that, you know, I forget. So hit the like button, y'all. I thank y'all for just coming on, for joining. And Sheila, I'm looking at these videos, and Sheila, you are following the Young Thug trial, and you have taught me so much about you know, the trial and Woody with his crazy self. But you know, now the feds got him in a deal with, now he's out making a living because he somewhat told on himself and a lot of stuff. So you know, it's comical. That fella Woody is comical. But people trying to make it, y'all. We all just trying to make it. We all just trying to make a better life for our kids. And my prayers go out to these drill artists, right? My prayers, you said I'm not mad at him. No, because he want to turn his life around. When somebody want to change, it's going to cost you. When you stand up and say that you want to make a change in your life, it's going to cost you something. Everybody is not going to understand. And what I learned is you can't take everybody with you on the way to the top. You can't. You can't. Once you make a drastic change in your life, it's some people that's not going to understand. It's some people that's going to be jealous of you. It's some people that think that you are supposed to have they supposed to have access to from the things that you're working about. A lot of people talk about Tyler Perry. And I have said some things, but one thing that I can say about Tyler Perry, he have made an addition, not a subtraction, to the Black culture, because he's paying people, right? He's employing people, right? So if you're doing that, you're a part of the good. But with that, there are going to come some people that are going to talk about you, yeah, and we all fall short of the glory of God. Don't nobody have a right to point a finger at nobody. Now, I am going to call out some things. Now, if you in your own culture, you can call out some things in your own culture, right? Because we got to do things to do things for the betterment of our culture, not be a part of the problem, right? So shout out to everybody that have came on my live, y'all. You know, when I don't be on here a lot, so when I do be on here, I'll be talking, y'all. I'll be chapping it up with y'all. I love y'all so much. So y'all like and subscribe. Like I said, watch the interview. And you know, Vlad, you know, he I'm praying for him, right? Because you know what I'm saying? You know, you can only profit for so long before, you know, your true colors be revealed. And my prayer is that you know, like, well, this is going to come out. And to me, how he was interviewing other like people to talk, seeing that they were going to talk about Marlon Wayans, and they was like, nope, I ain't gonna cancel myself out of my own culture. They didn't do it. They didn't come jump on the bandwagon. They call him out, and that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to call that behavior out. Yeah, that man is worth what he said. Look at what Shannon Sharp's numbers have did. So shout out to the Wayans family. Shout out to Marvin Wayans, right? I said Wayans. Wayans. Shout out to you know, all the ones who are trying to make you know, be better for our culture, right? And for God. Because he also, in the interview, Marlon Wayans was talking about his relationship with God. He said his father was a Jehovah's Witness and his mother was a Baptist, right? Sheila, you said we love you too. Thank you for your topic. I was not aware of the interview. Absolutely, you got to see the interview, y'all. So let me get out of here because I'm in the hood too, and I need to go home. I need to go home, y'all, before I ain't trying to catch no case. I love y'all. Anything, let me see, am I missing anything? Yeah. Okay, y'all, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.